Are you sure about this? I asked Mark, watching him pack the last of his things into a cardboard box. My husband of 12 years wouldn't meet my eyes as he cleared out his desk in our home office. Linda, we've been over this, he sighed, his tone carrying that condescending edge I'd grown to hate. The divorce papers are signed. I'm moving in with Jessica. It's done. Jessica, his 28-year-old marketing director, the woman he'd been sleeping with for the past year while I poured my heart and soul into building our life together. The betrayal still felt fresh, even 3 months after I'd discovered their affair. My name is Linda Chen, and at 42, I was watching my carefully constructed world crumble. Mark and I had built everything together, or so I thought. Our consulting firm had grown from a small startup to a respectable mid-sized company over the past decade. But now he was walking away with his half, taking most of our clients with him, and leaving me to start over. What he didn't know was that I'd been planning something bigger. For months, I'd been developing a revolutionary business idea, a digital platform that would transform how small businesses handle their operations. I kept the plans in my personal laptop, working on them late at night when Mark was working late. Now I knew what, or who, had really been keeping him at the office. As I watched him pack, my laptop sat innocently on the desk, password protected but otherwise unguarded. I never thought, oh, and Linda. Mark paused at the door, finally looking at me. Don't forget our meeting with the lawyers next week. We need to finalize the division of assets. I nodded numbly, not trusting myself to speak. He left, and I sank into my chair, emotionally exhausted. The house felt empty, echoing with memories of happier times. 3 days later, I opened my laptop to find it had been accessed while I was sleeping. The password had been changed, then changed back. But I knew. The encrypted folder containing my business plans was timestamps revealed recent activity. My hands shook as I checked the security logs. Someone had copied my entire project folder, the business plan, the market research, the prototype designs. Everything. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. It was a photo of Mark and Jessica, champagne glasses raised in celebration. Below it, a message. Thanks for the $1 million idea, Linda. Don't worry, we'll make sure to thank you in our success story. I sat there, staring at my screen, as rage and disbelief warred inside me. They hadn't just stolen my idea, they were mocking me with it. They thought they'd won, that they'd taken everything from me. But they'd made one crucial mistake. They thought the plans they'd stolen were complete. They weren't. What they had was version 1.0, the rough draft, the skeleton. The real innovation, the parts that would make it revolutionary, were still in my head. I'd been refining them, improving them, but hadn't committed them to paper yet. Now I was glad I hadn't. I picked up my phone and dialed my best friend, Sarah. I need your help, I said when she answered. And I need you to put me in touch with that venture capitalist you mentioned. Linda? She sounded concerned. What's going on? Mark stole my business plans. He and Jessica are going to try to launch it themselves. That bastard. Sarah's voice rose with anger. We'll sue them. No, I cut her off. I have a better idea, but I need to move fast. Can you set up that meeting? Of course. But Linda, what are you planning? I looked at the photo Mark and Jessica had sent, their smug faces raising their glasses in triumph. I'm planning to teach them what happens when you underestimate me. The next morning, I walked into the offices of Summit Venture Partners, my refined business plan tucked under my arm. James Chen, no relation. The partner Sarah had connected me with, was waiting. Mrs. Walker, he began. Ms. Chen, I corrected firmly. I've gone back to my maiden name. He nodded, making a note. Ms. Chen, Sarah speaks very highly of you. She says you have something revolutionary to share. I opened my laptop and pulled up my presentation. What I'm about to show you will transform how small businesses operate. But before I begin, I need you to sign this NDA, and I need to know how quickly you can move if you decide to invest. James raised an eyebrow but signed the document. If the idea is good enough, we can move very quickly. Why? Because, I said, pulling up the first slide, we need to beat my ex-husband to market, and I'm going to need significant resources to do it. For the next hour, I laid out my vision, not the bare-bones version Mark and Jessica had stolen, but the full concept, with all its innovative features and market-disrupting potential. I watched James' expression change from polite interest to genuine excitement. When I finished, he sat back in his chair, steepling his fingers. This is impressive. Very impressive. But you're right. We need to move fast. Your ex-husband has a head start. No, I smiled. He has an incomplete blueprint and a false sense of security. What I need is your help to build something better, faster, and more comprehensive than what he thinks he stole. James nodded slowly. How much are you looking for? I named a figure that made his eyebrows rise. That's ambitious. So is what I'm planning to build. But I have something Mark doesn't. A decade of relationships in this industry, a deep understanding of what our clients really need. And I pulled out a stack of letters, preliminary commitments from 15 major potential clients who are ready to sign on as soon as we launch. That got his attention. You've already secured commitments. I've been laying the groundwork for months. These clients trust me. They know my track record. What they don't know yet is that I'm about to offer them something revolutionary. James picked up one of the letters, scanning it. This is impressive. But what about your ex-husband's version? Even an incomplete version of this idea could cause problems. Let him try, I said firmly. He can launch whatever incomplete version he wants. Because what I'm going to build will be so much better that his product will look like a cheap knockoff in comparison. James studied me for a long moment, then reached for his phone. Let me call in a few people. I think we need to move on this immediately. As he dialed, I felt a surge of satisfaction. Mark and Jessica thought they'd cleverly stolen my idea. But they had no idea what was coming. They were about to learn that sometimes the best revenge isn't just success. It's spectacular, public, undeniable success. And I was just getting started. The next 3 months were a whirlwind of activity. With Summit Venture Partners backing, I assembled a team of top developers, designers, and industry experts. We worked around the clock, building something far beyond what Mark thought he'd stolen. Then came the news I'd been waiting for. Linda, my assistant Kate, rushed into my office one morning, tablet in hand. You need to see this. She pulled up a press release. Walker Digital Solutions announces revolutionary business management platform. There was Mark, standing proudly next to Jessica, announcing their upcoming launch. I smiled, which clearly wasn't the reaction Kate expected. Aren't you worried? She asked. Not at all, I replied, pulling up our own press release, scheduled for the following day. Watch this. The Wall Street Journal's announcement hit at 9 a.m. sharp. Tech industry veterans back revolutionary platform with $50 million Series A. The article detailed how Summit Venture Partners was leading a massive investment round in Chen Innovations, my new company. My phone started ringing immediately. The first call was from Sarah. Oh my God, Linda, she squealed. The timing is perfect. Mark and Jessica's little announcement looks like amateur hour compared to this. But it was the text from Mark that really made my day. What the hell are you doing? This is our idea. I responded with a single word. Our. Then I turned off my phone and focused on our launch preparations. We'd secured the grand ballroom at the Ritz for our event, scheduled 1 week after Mark's planned launch. I wasn't worried about him beating us to market. In fact, I was counting on it. Mark and Jessica's launch event was exactly what I expected. Flashy but superficial. They showed off a basic platform that, while functional, lacked the deep industry understanding and innovative features we'd built into ours. The business press was underwhelmed. Walker Digital's new platform offers standard features in a crowded market, one reviewer wrote. Nothing revolutionary here. Then came our launch. I stood on stage in front of over 500 industry leaders, investors, and potential clients. In the back of the room, I spotted Mark and Jessica, who'd somehow managed to get tickets. Perfect. For too long, I began, small businesses have struggled with fragmented solutions that don't truly understand their needs. Today, that changes. Over the next hour, I demonstrated our platform's capabilities, the proprietary AI algorithms that could predict business needs before they arose, the seamless integration with existing systems, the revolutionary pricing model that made enterprise-level tools accessible to small businesses. Every feature we revealed made Mark and Jessica's version look more and more dated. The room erupted in applause when we finished. Journalists rushed forward with questions. Potential clients lined up to sign contracts. And in the back of the room, Mark and Jessica sat frozen, their faces ashen. Later that evening, as we celebrated with the team, Sarah pulled me aside. "Mark's been trying to reach you," she said. "Apparently. Their early clients are already asking to cancel their contracts." I took a sip of champagne. "That's unfortunate." "Linda," she hesitated. "I know they deserve this, but are you worried about looking vindictive?" I set down my glass. "This isn't about revenge, Sarah. This is about building something better than what they tried to steal. If their product can't compete, that's not my problem." But Mark wasn't done yet. The next morning my lawyer called. "They're threatening to sue," she said. "Mark claims you stole his intellectual property." I laughed. "Let them try. I have dated documentation showing I developed this concept months before they launched. Plus, their product and ours are fundamentally different." "They seem desperate," she warned. "They should be," I replied, "because this is just the beginning." Sure enough, within weeks, reports started circulating about problems with Walker Digital's platform. Bugs, system crashes, poor customer support. Everything you'd expect from a rushed, incomplete product. Meanwhile, Chen Innovations was thriving. Our client list grew exponentially. Industry awards rolled in. The same publications that had dismissed Mark's launch were now hailing us as innovators. Then came the email from Jessica. "Please," she wrote, "we need to talk. Mark's not coping well with all this. The company's failing. Maybe we can work something out." I stared at her message, thinking about all the nights I'd spent developing this idea while they were carrying on their affair. About how they laughed when they thought they'd stolen my future. My response was brief. "There's nothing to discuss. May the best product win." Then I turned back to my work because, unlike them, I had a real company to run. The fall of Walker Digital Solutions was faster than anyone expected. Within 6 months of our launch, they'd lost most of their clients. Their platform's fundamental flaws, rushed development, poor architecture, and missing features had become glaringly obvious. I was in my office reviewing quarterly reports when James Chen walked in, looking pleased. "Had he seen the news?" he asked, sliding his tablet across my desk. The headline read, "Walker Digital Solutions files for bankruptcy, CEO steps down." Below was a photo of Mark leaving their offices, boxes in hand. Jessica was nowhere to be seen. "Their investors are furious," James continued. "Apparently, Mark never disclosed that the original concept came from you. When they found out about our prior documentation, they pulled their funding." I finished. "I know. 3 of their board members called me yesterday to offer their congratulations, to discuss acquisition talks." I handed him a folder. "They want to buy out Walker Digital's assets and migrate their remaining clients to our platform." James whistled. "That's poetic justice." "It's business," I corrected, though I couldn't quite hide my smile. "Their clients deserve a better product. We can provide it." Later that evening, as I was leaving the office, I found Mark waiting by my car. He looked terrible, tired, unshaven, his designer suit replaced by wrinkled khakis and a polo shirt. Gone was the arrogant man who'd smugly stolen my ideas. "Linda," he said, his voice hoarse. "Can we talk?" I checked my watch. 5 minutes. "Jessica left," he blurted out. "Said she couldn't handle the failure. The investors are suing me. I need your help." I studied him, remembering how he'd looked in that mocking photo months ago, champagne in hand, celebrating what he thought he'd stolen from me. "No," I said simply. "Linda, please. You've won, okay? You proved your point. But we were married for 12 years. Doesn't that mean anything?" "It meant everything," I replied. "Until you and Jessica decided to steal from me instead of believing in me. Until you thought you could take my ideas and do better with them than I could." "I was wrong," he admitted. "We were wrong. But I'm losing everything." "No, Mark. You lost everything the moment you decided to betray me. What's happening now? That's just the consequences of your choices catching up with you." I unlocked my car and got in, but he put his hand on the door. "What do you want?" he asked desperately. "Money? Public apology? Name it." "I want nothing from you," I said firmly. "I've built something successful, something real. Without you, without your interference, without your theft. That's all I ever wanted." I closed the door and drove away, leaving him standing in the parking lot. The next morning, I called a company-wide meeting. "As some of you may have heard," I began, "Walker Digital Solutions has filed for bankruptcy. We'll be acquiring their assets and welcoming their remaining clients to our platform. A cheer went up from the team. But that's not why I called you here, I continued. Today, we're announcing our expansion plans. Series B funding is secured. We're opening offices in 3 new cities. And I paused, smiling. We're launching our international division. The room erupted in applause. 1 year ago, I said once it quieted, someone tried to steal my dream. They thought they could take my ideas and do better with them than I could. Today, we've proven them wrong. But more importantly, we've proven that success isn't about stealing someone else's vision. It's about building something real, something valuable, something that makes a difference. Later that evening, as I sat in my office looking out over the city, Sarah stopped by. Quite a day, she said, settling into a chair. How does it feel? I thought about it. You know what's funny? When this all started, part of me wanted revenge. I wanted to prove Mark and Jessica wrong, to make them regret what they'd done. And now, I smiled. Now I realized that the best revenge wasn't destroying their company or watching them fail. It was building something so much better than what they tried to steal that they became irrelevant. It was proving that my success had nothing to do with them and everything to do with believing in myself. Sarah raised her coffee cup in a toast. To believing in yourself. And to karma, I added with a laugh. As we sat there watching the sunset, I thought about how much had changed in a year. Mark and Jessica had thought they were cleverly getting ahead by stealing my ideas. Instead, they pushed me to build something far beyond what they'd imagined possible. Sometimes I realized the people who try to tear you down end up being the ones who push you to your greatest success. Not because they believe in you, but because they underestimate you. And there's no sweeter victory than proving them wrong. The next morning, I received an envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter from Jessica. I'm sorry, it began. For everything. You deserve better than what we did to you. Watching you build something so incredible while we failed. It taught me a hard lesson about karma, integrity, and the difference between stealing success and earning it. I folded the letter and slipped it into my desk drawer. I didn't need her apology anymore. I had something better, the satisfaction of knowing that I turned their betrayal into the motivation to build something extraordinary. And that was worth more than revenge could ever be.